It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
All right, everybody, welcome to a Chucky guide sort of video. The definitive guide to counter tiles as Chucky. Probably all the tiles that you need to worry about with Chucky will all be covered in this video. Shout out to Bud or Static Rabbit on Discord for submitting the gameplay for me to review. Let's jump right in. I quickly wanted to touch on the add-ons real quick. So basically, the only ones that you really care about are the jump rope, which it says it gives you 8%, but your duration in total is 14 seconds. So 8% is only about 1.5 seconds. So you do get 15.5 seconds, which can guarantee you like an extra meter or two compared to before, which really can make the difference. The other one is power drill, which gives you 10% onto your duration if you land your attack, which means you're getting about 10% of what the 12 seconds I think it is, which means you're reducing the duration by about a second and a half. But I just wanted to point that out just to add it in there, you know, like the best add-ons you could run. There's other ones as well, but the main three that are going to actually see, you know, a difference will be these three. I usually run jump rope in every build because just having that extra distance can you know, get you hits that you might not see otherwise. And it's very crazy to say that, but it really does make the difference. So here you can actually go for a 50-50. So just to give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about here. So on this particular tile, there is a 50-50 because the wall there is the black line. Obviously, as you can see, the pallet's in red. The crate was there. Chuck's on here. Survivor's going in this way. So when you're playing this particular tile on this particular map, okay, right about here is where you want to stand. So you want to have Chucky on this side, and you want to have the survivor going into the pallet side, because they're going to have to make a read on if you're going to come from the right or left side. Now, how do you enact this particular play? Like, this is hopefully will give you an example. So basically what happens is you're using this mechanic to essentially slide. You want to essentially slide from this direction and this direction because of your forward momentum from using the slice and dice. So when you use slice and dice, you can actually slide off of the crate here or slide off of the crate there, and if you have enough time in your power, you can change directions. So something that I will do, and you can even see this with like pig as well, you can fake one direction, go the other direction, and try to get them to drop a pallet on either end. So whether they're here or they're here and they're dropping the pallet, they're going to take a hit. Now if they're able to counter it, right, then obviously good on them. Like, they're able to pallet. They ultimately want to use this pallet here to stun you as you go on each side. Now what makes it unpredictable is the idea that they're trying to drop the pallet on either side there, and what you're trying to do is sort of like a hug tech, and it's a little bit hard to show, because when you go here and you're on this side, this is not the side you want to be on. You want to be on where this tree is at. Because you want to face them as they're in this particular pallet. Because when you're going here, this is too long on either side. They can either hold W to that TNL, or they can go run off that in that direction, because they're not in a situation where they have to stay there. So when you activate it, right here is where you should have had them run into. If you have them going here, this would have been the situation where you can actually actively get them to make a decision. So from here, as you can see, because you started charging on this side, the angle was off. So therefore now you're fully having to commit to going to the left side, which is completely safe for them. And then what happens here as well is that because you started from that point, and you're not, and the other part is you didn't let go of your slice and dice, because what happens is you can hold it down with the left trigger, because I know you're on controller, so that's technically LT. You could let go, and then from there, Chucky usually jumps. So when he jumps, you can actually turn your camera to try to at least like correct the direction But right here, as you can see, because you held on to it, you actually end up going into the wall. And right here is what I was talking about. You can see right here, this is the wrong way to play it, because if she dropped it on whether it was either this side that she's standing or that side, you could try to bait her by charging in front of this crate and then picking a direction to get her there. I'm gonna give you another tip. So when you're coming up here, your power is already about to charge. So you see her running this way. If you've been on this map enough, and I can see that you knew this because you were saying that you immediately activated slice and dice, so you know that there's a window coming up. So about here is where you need to start charging your ability, because if she makes the window, you can hit her. If she decides to try to run around you, you hit her, because right here is a dangerous situation. She either has to go around you as you're going towards her from charging at this point. This corner here is where you start to pre-charge your slice and dice with LT here. And then if she vaults, you'll be right behind her because you're already running after her with slice and dice. You'll be able to scamper over, and whether she runs to the side or which direction, you'll be able to immediately hit her. But because you didn't do that and you're following her directly, because right about here should be when you're already running at her with slice and dice active. So when you're doing that, you would already be vaulting right after her, and it'd be way faster than having to run, stop, press the button, then go over. You can easily just quickly vault right over, and then you'll be able to use your ability. Now, obviously, this is the event, so chances are she could also block the window as well. So this makes it even safer for her in the situation in particular with the anniversary. Now, assuming that it isn't the anniversary, you can pre-charge this, go for the window, scamper over it. She has to make a decision. Do I go for the doorway, or do I try to run behind him? Now, from that, and we're gonna see it here, I'm gonna let it play a little bit. From here, you look at what she has to do, right? Because if you scampered this, she would have to go, okay, I gotta either jump in this locker, and then you would have got the hit because she would have been stuck in there, or she would have had to run to the left as you were scampering over, or she would have had to stop and then like try to vault behind you. But either way, either outcome would have been unsafe, and you wouldn't have to worry about the main building strength because of the fact that this wall on the left isn't open, and the right here would have been the perfect situation to use it. So the build did misplay that, but if they were playing it correctly, a good way is to start activating slice and dice when you're here, because there is a 50-50 that you can essentially go for on that side too. Now keep in mind, if you hadn't used your slice and dice, if you had just walked up to them with the undetectable normally, you would have your ability already ready to go. But because you had found him as it was on cooldown, you wouldn't have been able to actually use your ability here like to the fullest extent, because it actually runs out here, which, mind you, you do get the hit regardless, so it, essentially on paper doesn't really matter. But the Bill also was very confused, so like if he was a bit more like aware, I think it would have been a lot more difficult for you. And you still got the down, obviously, so that's good. You also played it very well. You didn't actually like do you didn't make a mistake on the tile at all. That was perfect, so that's good. So right about here, I'm going to point out once again, right about here is when you should start activating your slice and dice. When you're about here where the gen is at, this is when you should start going and start activating your hidey ho. This is the perfect situation to do that, because notice when you turn the corner, look where she's at. She's right here. So if you activate it out of sight, she can't exactly know which direction per se. She can, I guess, but she doesn't see you. So depending if they maybe like don't have their headphones on, or maybe the gen was loud, they probably may not hear you as easily. Could get you the hit. But regardless, when you're turning the corner from there, you can, and then you from here, you want to go wide. You want to go wide because they do have an entire like hill that they can climb. So say you because if you're just gonna normal M1 with 115%, like that's pointless. Like you want to use your ability to get hits faster, because Chucky already struggles with movement as it is. So you want to pre-charge from behind the gen, go wide, like so that you can catch them on the rotation, And like depending if they want to go up here, you can let go, turn, stab, or if they go this way, you'll be able to turn right around and catch them so that they have to get a hit there. But because because like sure, you're getting like the 5%, but then she makes the pallet here, and yeah, like she pretty much doesn't really have to do anything in that situation. As you can see, she's completely safe. She has pallet control, she has the window now, and about this point here is another example I can give, actually. Okay, so this is Chucky, the cow is the survivor. I'm already S, you know. Basically, from where you started at, from this hill tile over there, she connected it here. This is not great. Now, from the pallet position, all she needs to do is go here, and then vault this, and then from here, she can go here, or she can go there. Right? That's usually how it goes, right? But because we're trying to counter that, we're trying to go at it from a different standpoint, right? We want to do something different. We want to be able to counter it. So you have to come in either A, you can go from this point and follow her, right? So in a sense, you try to rotate around so that you can also go the same way, and then use the slice and dice to get you to go through this and create a play from that. Because I've actually done this before, where you can actually slice and dice from this corner, depending if she's going in toward the pallet side, scampering this and then being able to either rotate around the out like this end. You can go about it that way, right? So hopefully this makes sense, okay? But basically, from the angle that you guys came in from, which was from here, you end up going and giving her the pallet, which she then uses in black. You can see the lines going in, and then she can either go around and then go back, or go around and then go into the pallet again and keep rotating as many times as she wants. The problem is that the way to count, like, is that you gave her the rotation. So from here, it pretty much gives them what they want, right? Now, the one advantage that Chucky has is the fact that, just like Ghostface, he can activate his undetectable in the middle of a tile. They can't see the red stain. So that's when you start to gain control. Now, from this angle, where as you can see the penguin is at, it's probably not going to be great because you're not going to be able to see much. But if you let her rotate in, you can vault after her. Let her run to whichever direction she wants to go to. From here is where you can activate your slice and dice, which I'm going to also place down another one of these right here. And basically what you want to do is you can take, which I'm going to try to, you know, try to show this. So you can either go from here, activate, go, you know what I mean? And slice and dice it, right? And then you can either go this way around and then be able to let go and then get her, right? Or you can go around that way, hug it, and then go and then be able to catch her on the before she hits the pallet potentially. So I want to use an example from one of my own videos to help sort of signify how to counter these tiles and like this particular jungle gym. And I'm gonna actually use one of my own videos, the Become a Pro Chucky in 1 minute video, that kind of gives like a slight sort of synopsis on how to play certain tiles. So going by the diagram, obviously you're like, from where I'm standing, you're coming from the pallet side, and then the window is right here where she is. So as I turn the corner, and as you can see, I'm going over here where she is. I see her, I follow her, right? Now, notice where I'm activating slice and dice, right? I'm immediately turning my head as I'm activating slice and dice, because you want to immediately start to get the cone of view of where Chucky's going. So for example here, I start to charge because ultimately I want to vault this. Now I'm going onto this side because I don't see her there. So I know that she's waiting on that check spot. As you can see, you know, you're using the camera to look the same, pretty much the same angle survivors have, which is an advantage. You can basically go from here. As I do, I start sliding, because what I do, and as you're going to see right here, and I'll see if I can slow it down, if possible. But basically, you see right about there, I'm going to slow it down, I'm going to try to slow it down quite a bit so you can see it. So from about here, I see her. Boom. She's right there. I'm like, okay, so she's trying to check spot. I am going to look like I'm actually going in that direction by sliding against the window to do that. right? Then I start sliding back because she's thinking, okay, he's going to keep following in that direction. I'm going to then force her to go back around. As you can see where the gen is, that's what the pallet is. Go back around there. So then from here, you're going to see that she's now turning the corner. And look, I'm not even in view because I'm below the window. I'm in the animation as I'm about to jump up and get over the window. So now, as you can see, we're gonna go ahead and play it again. We vault, right? We scamper over. She doesn't see me because she already started turning around to go toward the pallet because she knows that's her safe zone. I start going around there as well because I already know she's gonna go in that direction. Then from here, I catch her, right? Because as I see her, I already am letting go of my ability. I'm already letting go of the slice and dice, which catches her there on the turn. She falls down. And that's how you play that. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. So this is the clip in real time, all right? So we walk around, we start charging, we scamper over, and then we're immediately getting the hit from there. Okay, so from here, we're at a new tile. I noticed that here you actually didn't get the hit. And I pause it here because right here, you're in the perfect distance to actually get a lunge. And you didn't actually get the lunge here. So this would have been very important to land if you were to, get the injury because she's doing a medium vault, so it actually means that her hitbox lingers a bit longer than a fast vault would, for example. To give an example of sort of how the survivor, which is Betsy the cow here, how a survivor normally would play it, they would want to go around to this window. From there, they want to either go either side, basically, to go back to the pallet. So they may either go from this side or that side to try to reach back to the window. As you know, it can from either end. It can either go from that side or that side, but they always want to go back to the pallet in red for the danger zone, as I like to call it, because you obviously do not want to, take a stun from there, obviously. But how do you counter it, right? How do you counter it? There's a couple ways. So normally as an M1 killer, like Chucky the penguin here, normally you would want to go from, this side and then this side or whatever to try to get the red stain to show and then get them to drop and then whatever have you. But Chucky's a little different. He has the capability of creating a 50-50 that I might have shown earlier. And this applies the same way because if you are standing here, that means that you completely lock off the capability to vault. They can't go past without taking a hit. So from here, you ideally want to activate slice and dice facing this wall and trying to slide to get them to drop the pallet, or if they are, well, better yet, I should say, you don't really want the pallet to be down, believe it or not, because it's a bit more dangerous and it's a bit more of a 50-50, because the only way they can get out of this without taking a hit is if they were to stun you on this 50-50 on a tile like this, whether it's a crate, pallet, wall like this, whatever have you, this sort of rotation. They have to make that read. They have to make that guess of which direction you're going to. Now, if you play it like a normal M1 killer, obviously everybody's done that, but Chucky has the capability of being able to slide, has the capability to slide from here. As you can see the image, he can go from here and use his momentum. He can basically do like kind of fake and then go the other way and then hit them on that direction, if that makes sense. He can sort of slide while going this way, then slide right back around and then finish off by like going for the hit there. Okay, so that's sort of the strength and what goes into this. Now, if the pallet is down, it works somewhat similarly, where you can sort of like do the growl. He goes, yeah, and then he starts like, and then he tries to get the hit on either end, but it still works the same way. But M1 killers can't really do what he can do. It's sort of like a hug tech in a way, and it basically forces them into a situation that is a lot more dangerous. But I'm assuming here, it like you didn't really play it or even use the slice and dice here, which is not good, because now you're breaking the pallet, which it already isn't that strong of a pallet. You should have left it up. You also try to go for a hit here. I'm going to try to demonstrate why it didn't connect. And Betsy, the cow that you're going after right now, is running here, right? She's over here. And the problem is that she's running along this way, right? Now, you were going over this way, right? You were trying to follow the same path as her, and then what ended up happening was you hit this point here. What the correct play was, which you actually did, you had the right play, because as you turned the corner, you were already charging your slice and dice to turn the corner. So that was a very smart move. However, the better way to do it is you are charging from this point here, right? So this is the charge. We're going to put C there because you're charging there. Then you're going wide to go that way. And the reason for that is because of how Chucky functions. Now, the way that Chucky works, all right, I'll try to see if I can draw it. But basically, to give you guys an example, he has sort of like a little cone of view that he has, right? That he can use his ability. So in this particular example, he has this range of motion, as you can see by the diagram. He has this range of motion. So any angle from this little window that he has here, this little cone of vision, he can use to get a hit. So he can use it here, there, pretty much anywhere within this. And anything past this lines that I'm showing here from the top to bottom is where you can't hit anybody. Which is about here and there. So anybody who runs behind you or around this particular spot will be completely safe. So the reason is that you're trying to go wide, because if you go straight, they have the full range of motion, which I'm going to draw as well. They have the full range of motion from this, from where they are. They can easily go this way. They can go in this way. They can go into this direction. Like, they can pick any direction that they want, especially going in this whole wide open space here that has all that range that they can go to. But if you're going wide, you completely cut off any capability of being able to do that. So, because you're locking off this zone here. This zone is completely unsafe now because of your presence. You're already going around all the way, which means you're avoiding, not only you're avoiding the wall, but you're also avoiding their capability to dodge to the left. So they have to go to the right, which already makes it more predictable. Then, depending if it's just a wall with no window or any way to enter, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a hit because they have nowhere else to go. And you can immediately catch their turn if they try to go around you because of the said cone from before. Because of here, you are hugging the wall here, and then she completely can just make the full turn around the corner and completely remove any capability of you taking a hit. As you can see right here by this example, if you went wide, she would have got hit right here. And you can see that right here. You can see that right here in the clip. And right here, this might be like an unknown thing you could do. But if they do something like this, I actually had a clip like this in my other video that I can show. Well, maybe not this clip. Right here is this clip here, where I go for the 50-50. And I think there should be one more clip here where I activate it. So as you can see here, I go around it a little bit till it recharges. While I'm walking, I'm activating the charge. I'm gonna show it again. So as you can see, same type of tile, right? As you can see, same tile. Same tile as before. She pre-drops it, you go around, you're already charging it because you already know the rotation. You go around, and then you start using your slice and dice from around the corner. The fact that he was like stuck placing down that pallet, that's what got me the hit, because as you can see, he has to like, he drops it here. I'm waiting for my power. He has to go around it because he's forced to do that. I went from that tall side so that he would hesitate and then go. I can charge it around that corner to create a 50-50, because Chucky is one of the most 50-50 focused characters, I would say, because of the size and also because of the sort of capability to kind of slide around things. So she did mess up there, but it was really smart, right? Like, it was a very good play. It was very similar to the tile I shown before with the window. It was very similar to before in the tile that I showed, where you're able to kind of keep them against a wall and that sort of like safety wall that they're going to use. This was really smart. You were able to hug the wall, go and slide to the side, but the problem was you didn't let go. You had to let go of your power, because now, as you can see, you actually slide off of her like a wall because you didn't let go of your power. You had to let go of the LT so that Chucky could jump, so that he can actually use your power there. That's why you slid past her. So she messed up because she didn't keep running forward, because I don't think she expected you to miss. But right there was a good area to get a hit from. So right there, that was the perfect play. Right there, that was beautiful. I'm gonna play it again because that was perfect. That was the perfect way to play that. Perfect. If you're going to, if you want to threaten them with the charge like that, go around it so you don't like scamper directly. Then you can go under it, and then you immediately flick and get the hit. Perfect timing. Okay. So I want to show a little diagram on how to play the shack on that sort of play, because it was a good start. Like, it was a really good start on how to get it going. So from here, you obviously start charging, which I'm gonna put C. You start charging about there, and then you try to get them to vault, which was good, right? So you got them to vault, which I'll show it in blue. You got them to vault, so that was good. You go, you know, because you threaten with this path here to get them to go out here. That was good. The problem was that you continued to go in, and that was the problem with that one. When you go in this way to try to follow them, they're from here. It's a fast vault, which I'm gonna put FV for fast vault. So right there, they get the fast vault here every time, pretty much every time. You're not gonna get the hit there. You want them to go for the vault so they're outside, so that once again you use the play from before. You curve. You want to go out around wide. So when you're going around wide, you can catch them at any point there, because if they were to go from like, let's say they want to go back or go this way or something, they can't. They only have this particular area or the window. And if they go anywhere in this little area here, they're pretty much going to get downed. And by going in, you're just going to hit the wall every time, because they're going to be completely outside, and then it also slows you down even more. Which this is pallet side window, as you can see by the distance between the window and the door. Hopefully that makes sense. Another tip I'm gonna say is, if any time, and I mean this, any time, you got lucky because the ace wasn't prepared. But if any time you see somebody do this, and you see them slowly walk out, do not grab them. Do not. For whatever reason, you can get blinded from this position. If you get the yanking animation like this, you pull them out like that, you're gonna get blinded. Like, and that's why he attempted it, because he knew that he could do that. The problem was he wasn't prepared. There might not be in comms, or maybe they're like really late on that. But this is not what you want to do. What you want to do is, you want to, if you see that they're slowly exiting, you want to hold down your lunge button. You want to hold down your attack button, so that you, from like a distance even, just so that you don't get the grab out. Because if you get the grab, you can get blinded. You can. So it's better to just down them normally and then wait in case somebody comes up, tries to blind, or maybe tries to attempt to save by jumping inside the locker to bait a blind with a flashbang, stuff like that. This right here, very dangerous. You know, I do not I do not recommend playing into plays like these, because if they were more coordinated, you would have completely lost even more pressure than you already had lost. I'm gonna make one small note toward the end here. I will say that in this situation, you probably didn't even need to activate the slice and dice around that spot. Like, if you were to use the slice and dice on the pallet below the staircase, that would have been a good 50-50 to attempt it. However, if you weren't gonna do that, it would have been best to use it here to scamper over the window, because she's already injured and it would have been a 50-50 shot. Now, you did go and fall down here, which if she was paying attention, she would have been able to just run right back to the top and not be in danger whatsoever, because if you drop down early, she will then be able to just run right back down the stairs from the outside, and you would have to waste time having to find a way back up or whatever have you. When you're at the top of the main like this, you most definitely want to stay on her all the way down, basically, because she has the capability to go back up the stairs, which she notices here that she can do that. So what are my main takeaways for this sort of guide for you guys? And shout out to Bud for submitting the gameplay. First and foremost, you always want to keep in mind your cooldown, using your ability sparingly despite it having a 12-second cooldown. You want to be able to be more mindful on when to activate your ability, because it is a common misconception that just because your ability has a short cooldown doesn't mean that you're always going to have it when you need it. And another little tidbit is haste does work in Slice and Dice. So you obviously want to use that haste when you have it. So if you are going to be using a furtive chase, make sure that you use your Slice and Dice to gain extra distance with that extra haste, and then obviously you're still undetectable for that duration while the perk is active, so you do not need to activate your Slice and Dice during that time. Another thing is the 50-50s and stuff like that, which are a little bit tricky. I know that it's probably not super common to talk about. I'm not too sure. Obviously, I haven't really looked up many Chucky guides to be able to compare, but I do know that there is a lot of information, maybe misinformation about how to play Chucky a little bit more effectively on tiles. Now, keep in mind that Chucky is also not an M1 killer in a lot of sense. He's too slow to be one, and he's also sort of like a dash killer in a way as well. And he's a monster in chase. You know, if you know what to do and you can force survivors into situations where they have to make guesses and they have to play it correctly, you're going to be in the right track. You're going to be able to do a lot. And hopefully this was able to give you a lot of information on how to sort of play certain tiles or kind of know when to do certain things. And once again, thank you to Bud or Static Rabbit on Discord for submitting this gameplay for us to all be able to learn from. And thank you to you guys for watching this video. Support the channel with the links in the description. If you want to see more reviews like these, check the channel. And if you want to submit your own, join the Discord and make sure to accept the rules. You go to the coaching and clips for review channel and you submit a link for your gameplay where you make sure you lose, or it's a tie or a hard match, one of those kinds of things. You struggled, so we can really give I can really give some good advice. And make sure that you include your hours as well, so that I can kind of have an idea as to where you're sort of at in terms of experience level, so I'm able to give the best advice that I can. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, man, leave a like, comment, let me know your thoughts. And hopefully, for those of you that are learning Chucky, man, keep it up, man. Use the video as a guide if it helps you. Hopefully the diagrams were hopefully helpful. I will see you guys in the next one.